All right, hello everybody. My name is Avion Howard, and I'm host of this new series that's been started by Evolve called A Day in the Life of a Grad, where we explore the lives of various students from all types of different backgrounds and dive into their perspectives as well as their experiences. You can find me on my Instagram at deluxe_evolution. And for those who might not have heard of Evolve, this is a mental health platform that is helping students improve their mental, physical, and emotional health by creating resources that support their overall well-being and desired life direction. And today we have a special guest, Tom Vorselen. You can feel free to introduce yourself a bit about in your background, and we can get started.
Cool. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me for this opportunity as well, because I honestly think that the topic that you are covering is super important. For the listeners, I am from the Netherlands, so I'm from Europe, and I live in Amsterdam. I'm 24 years old, and I graduated a bachelor's in sports science and a master's in international business and sustainability management. And yeah, like here in the Netherlands, we experience really high levels of stress with the students. About 97% of the students experience stress. So I think what you are doing and the topic that you cover is really important.
Okay, well, yeah, that's interesting. And you said that 97% of students experience stress. Well, I want to ask you that first question about that. What do you think is like a big contributor to that stress that students face?
Yeah, that's a great question. So here they have done a lot of research on that. And one of the main contributors to that is the study pressure. So what students experience is that they need to study a lot. And besides that, you need to keep up with your social life. You need to keep up with a part-time job maybe that you're doing to pay the rent of these massive expensive rooms here in Amsterdam. So it's all like coming together, but usually it starts with the study pressure that it's just a lot for students. At least they think it's a lot, kind of, but maybe we can discuss that a bit later on. And that is the main contributor, according to the research. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to dive a little bit into your school experience. Let's say,
Sure.
Is that something that you've dealt with as well? That study pressure during your time? Like, what was your undergrad like?
Yeah, I would love to share that story because I've experienced the study pressure and the stress myself. When I did my undergrad, so that was my bachelor in sports sciences. In my first year, I was basically collecting every retake that I could, simply because I was turning 17 when I started, and I just straight up rolled out of high school where I was an average C student, and I had to deal with so many courses at the same time, and I didn't know how to organize it. I didn't know how to learn efficiently, effectively. So I was just spending a lot of time and not getting the results that I wanted. So this ended up in like the last week of my year, I had 3 retakes in 2 days, and I needed to pass 2 of them in order to proceed to the second year. And worst case scenario, like I was already signing up at different universities to look at different programs in case that I wouldn't pass. Like I had a plan A, B, C, and D ready. But to be honest, like it was quite stressful. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend that to experience for other students. But unfortunately, like it's still taking place, and people need to drop out of their first like choice of study because they can't deal with all the subjects and the stress. Yeah.
So, like, did that thought ever cross your mind during all those retakes and all that stress that you had to go through? Like, oh, what if I just like left all this behind? What if I just dropped out? Have you ever thought about that?
Honestly, no, because like the study that I was doing was really what I wanted to do. So what I was covering in the courses about psychology, about behavioral science, all those kind of topics were really interested, and I knew that I wanted to pursue with the study. So it was basically my plan A to finish the exams and get them done. So yeah, of course, probably sometimes I thought, oh, maybe I should just like give up and go for a second thing. But yeah, eventually my drive to continue and finish this study was strong enough to get me through it. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting that you talk about your drive, because it also relates to your content creation, that you're also an online content creator. I wanted to ask you as well, what motivates you to create content online?
Great question. So the content that I create is related to my personal experience of my my first year as a bachelor student. So the content that I create is all about efficient and effective learning methods so that students do not have to experience the same that I did. So I create content about scientifically proven methods that will help increase your knowledge retention. And therefore you can like study more in less time, if that makes sense. Like it's just proven that these methods work. And yeah, like I want to give back, and I don't want to see like other people experience the same, because it wasn't like fun. And this is a way on how I can help students. So one of my colleagues or mentors once told me, what is the pleasure of having knowledge if you cannot share? And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I know all of this. Like, why would I not share it with other people that can benefit from it?
Yeah, that's kind of the similar reason why I started creating content as well, and why I continued to make it, is because I started acquiring all the knowledge about life and everything, and all the past experiences that I've had have helped me get to where I am now. And I feel like I would be doing a disservice not sharing what I've learned, so that other people can, be successful and probably go even farther than me with the knowledge that I'd be able to share online. That's very
Exactly. Yeah.
So how was that like, being a creator? Like, when did you start creating online?
So my idea about my business kind of thing started last year, September. Like I graduated last year, February. Then I was first just doing a different job, but then I thought, okay, I want to figure out if this is something I would like to work on. So started doing loads of interviews with students, figuring out what they were dealing with. And then I found out, okay, yeah, there is like a market, and there's like a lot of students that need help, not only in the Netherlands. This 97% exists, but it's like a worldwide kind of thing, I figured. So when I started creating content, I believe my first post was the 16th of May, 2023. So approximately 2 months ago. And yeah, right now, like the interaction and the community on my Instagram is worldwide. People from India, America, Europe, Africa. So I see that I'm impacting like a lot of different students. So that is, yeah, that's when I started and how I started a bit.
Oh yeah, that can feel amazing when you see the impact that you're making in different communities than the one that you're already in, ones that you didn't even know that you could reach. I can imagine how that feels.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you had an online business, or that you were building your business. Can you describe that business a bit? Can you talk about it?
Yeah, sure. So basically what I'm doing is, first of all, I create content online. For now, it's only on Instagram. But in the future, I would love to expand that maybe to some kind of podcast or YouTube videos, where I would like go onto the streets and interview students and like ask them, hey, what do you experience with your study stress or with your mental health? And then we can like kind of on the spot can give them advice and create content about that. so that a lot of students can relate, like, oh, okay, I'm not alone in this, and there are ways to deal with it. So there is like plans for after the summer break. Right now it's summer break here in the Netherlands. And then what I do on the business side is I help students with a one-on-one coaching. So for example, I had a student reach out to me last week, and she asked me, okay, Tom, can you please help me? Because I have 3 retakes next week. And if I don't pass them, like, I'm going to be kicked off of my studies. So we had the conversation, figured out how I can help her. And yeah, I help her with these scientifically proven methods that we discussed earlier. And on the Wednesday, she already texted me. She got a result straight away. She passed. And she was like, oh my God, this is like so amazing. I thank you so much for your help, because I think if I didn't reach out to you, I would have not have passed, and potentially would have like been thrown off my studies. So that is what I do one-on-one. I also do like kind of group coaching. So for my university, I coach master students. And what we do is we discuss like, okay, how is the study going? What are you dealing with the study pressure? But also, how do you experience group assignments? What kind of difficulties do you face with that? But also, what would you like to do in your career after the masters? So figuring out, okay, what is my next step going to be? So that is what I do on a business level. And oh, forgot about that. Teaching at universities will be part of that next school year. So in 2 months, I will be teaching at several universities, doing like kind of workshops, guest lectures on these topics as well.
Oh, you're going to be teaching these same topics that you create content on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's great, actually. And you said that you coached master's students too. So, and you have a master's degree as well. Can you describe what the experience was like in master's, like the difference between undergrad and grad school?
Yeah. So, of course, every educational system is a bit different. So I will just shortly explain what it looks like in the Netherlands. Okay.
Yeah.
So my bachelor was 4 years, and then my master's was 1.5 years. So half a year was a pre-master's, which was really intense. It was like setting you up for the master. We had like, I think 9 courses over the period of 4 months or so. But it was just like 5 weeks, 1 course, and or 2 or 3 courses just being thrown at you. That was really intense. Also with COVID coming up, everything was online. So you needed to have like a lot of like discipline and a motivation to get yourself to study, because you couldn't study together with other students. It was just you on your own sitting behind your laptop, and you had to put in the work. And besides that, the master's I did was in global business strategy, where my bachelor was in sports sciences. So in my sports science bachelor, I did a lot of practical learning. So I would be teaching, I would be coaching, I would learn things and put them into practice. But in my master's, it was just all like theory and academically based topics such as economics, statistics, organizational behavior, or marketing. And I hadn't had any of these courses in my previous education. So I had to work a lot to like get all the knowledge in and deal with that. So it was tough. It was a bit tough. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What made you wanted to go into the global business strategy for masters from sports science?
Yeah. So when I was 16, my mom told me, please go do a study that you like. And my dad told me do a study that is like maybe accounting or business. So because then you will land a good job. Eventually, I listened to both of them. Like first, I did a studies that I enjoyed, the sports science bachelor, and when I got a bit older, I started to see like, oh, I do have an interest in business as well. And then I was figuring out, okay, what kind of studies would fit my interest there? So I started looking for master's degrees, ended up with the global strategy and sustainability masters. And I saw an opportunity to combine my master's with my bachelor. Just like, okay, look into opportunities, maybe working at a Adidas or a Nike or all those kind of things, because that's still sports related, but business.
Interesting. Yeah, you were able to combine the two.
Yeah.
And what are some lessons that you've learned from your time during school that's helped you with your online business?
Definitely how to work with a lot of different people. So I think I have taught or coached like over 1,000 people throughout my life, either in football, skiing, outdoor sports, like study coaching. It's been 9 years so far, like, and I would have different people every week. So you have to deal with a lot of people. Your communication skills need to be on point. Your leadership skills need to be on point. But also your emotional intelligence, like empathy and how you deal with certain situations. And I think that is helping me a lot right now, because the online business that I'm in is coaching, which is a contact sport, is what we often call it. It's like making connections with other human beings. So I think throughout my studies, I learned a lot on like working together with a lot of people that have helped me pursue in this business that I'm in right now.
Yeah, also definitely saw some valuable skill sets that I can see translate into your content. But also want to ask more about that content. Do you have any favorite topics that you want to talk about, or have any least favorite topics when making content?
Yeah, so I think my favorite topic is about the learning strategies, because I honestly think that, okay, they have guided me and helped me out so much that those are the topics I enjoy creating the most and talking about the most. That is also the topic that I will be teaching like at the universities. I know a lot about it, and I love to share that knowledge. So that's basically my favorite. And the least favorite is, I don't think I have any least favorite, because then I'm not making it, you know?
Yeah, that's true as well.
Yeah.
When it comes to like the learning topics, do you have any like best learning strategy or best learning topic that you can give an audience, maybe off the top of your head?
Yeah, sure. So basically, there are three things really important when you're studying. The first thing is that you apply spaced repetition, which means that you revise the topic over a certain interval. So, for example, I always advise, if you have a class on Monday, that at the end of the day, you are quickly going to look over it and maybe make like a small summary. The day after, you're going to revise it and you're going to make like a questionnaire for yourself, which you can answer 1 week later. And 4 weeks later, you will create a mind map by heart about all the topics that you have covered in the previous 4 or 5 weeks. So one day, no, same day, 1 day, 1 week, 4 weeks is spaced repetition. But you also heard me mentioning creating a summary, creating a questionnaire, answering the questionnaire, and creating a mind map, which are called active recalling methods. And these require your brain to actively recall information, which will strengthen the knowledge network, and therefore are like far more beneficial than passive learning strategies. And passive learning is, for example, just reading over your notes, because by reading, of course, you gain some knowledge, but when you need to actively come up with it, it is a lot better. And the third thing is that you need to take breaks and take care of yourself, because in the breaks, and especially like good sleep, but also study for half an hour and take a 5 to 10 minute break, is going to help your brain process information a lot better, and therefore it will retain a lot better in your brain as well. So those three, spaced repetition, active recalling, and breaks and self-care are the most important for study success, in my opinion.
Amazing. I actually like how you laid out that strategy, because those are definitely some new strategies to me. I've never heard of those before. I definitely wish I had when I was in school. But yeah, those are
You're
actually
welcome.
yeah. Are there any, like, does that also help with tests, maybe upcoming tests as well, or is there like another specific method that really helps with tests?
Yeah, so I always ask students this. On an exam, what do they ask from you? Like, they ask you to respond to a question, right? So why do we not learn by answering questions? So preparation for tests, in my opinion, best by taking previous exams. Like, just ask the teacher, like, do you have a exam of last year that we can practice? Because that way you will see what kind of questions will be asked, but also you get into like the process of answering the question, dealing with maybe the time pressure, and all those kind of things. And you can do that after you did like the 4 repetitions. You can start getting into the practice exams that will set you up for the exam. It will definitely help you to feel more confident because you know what you can expect, and therefore the chance that you have a blackout kind of during exams is a lot less, because you know, like, okay, I can answer this question, I've done it before, I know how to deal with the time pressure, all those kind of things.
Okay. Yeah, once again, I've never even thought about that before. Like asking your professor to see if they have any practice exams. That actually really helpful, especially if they did have the practice exam and they were able to hand it out to everybody else. And you can set up maybe some group sessions so you can like help each other solve the exam together. That's actually a really
Exactly.
helpful. Yeah, thank you for that. And actually, what do you think students can do during the summer to set themselves up for success heading into the new school semester?
Good question. I would definitely recommend to look into the courses that you will have in your like first semester. For example, in my master's, I would have the course of statistics. And I always heard from friends and family that statistics is a really tough course. So what I did during my summer break is I also asked the university, like, do you have any recommendations on practicing statistics? And they sent me an online course, which was about, I think, 20 hours or so, just like learning the basics of statistics. And I did that. I just did 1 hour every day for a month. And I find it enjoyable. I learned a lot about statistics. And eventually, like, the class was so easy because I just already covered everything that was going to be in class. So during your summer break, I would like definitely look into your potential classes, and if you can prepare in any kind of way, even if it's just like a couple of hours getting familiar with the topics, it just gives you a 3-0 advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah, just basically giving yourself a head start, especially now, like mid-July, almost like to late July, school semester about to start back again. I would say that now is always the best time.
Yep.
Now, I want to ask, this is something that I wanted your opinion on, because I would say recently there's been a lot of the controversial talk on social media about like completely disregarding college, saying it's like a waste of time and everything, and just going into the business endeavor without that higher education or anything. I wanted to ask you, how impactful do you believe school is for an average student if they want to build an online business, say go like a similar route that you did?
Yeah, I love that you asked this question. In my opinion, like, college and my university and everything I did played a huge role in who I am today. Like without all the experiences of internships and knowledge that I gained throughout my student life, I think I wouldn't have been able to start this business. It is during the internships that I developed a lot of like soft skills, which have helped me create better communication, leadership, emotional intelligence skills. And besides that, the knowledge and people that I met during my time at college, like the network, is playing a huge role right now in growing and starting my business. At my university, we are a business university. So my teachers all have practical experience in starting and having their own business. So right now, when I'm starting my business, I'm just reaching out to them and ask them for help. If I wouldn't have done my master's there, I would not have this network. Like, I think it will be harder to create kind of these skills and this network on yourself without being in college. So I think besides all the knowledge on certain topics that you develop, the social part and like the soft skills that you develop by being a student at a college, collaborating with other students, visiting companies, is what will help you create like an idea of what things you can do in life in general.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because even though people would talk very negative on school, very negative on college in general, it gives you a new avenue to kind of practice these soft skills that you were talking about. And I would say like the power of self-learning, just learning things outside of the classroom on your own time, can also be very helpful. I wouldn't like, I don't think I
Absolutely.
would ever say school is a waste of time, but you can definitely waste your time in school. You know what I mean? Like you can definitely go through college and just take the courses, or better yet, you can kind of brush through them, not really paying attention to the classes, not really, and then you get a degree in something that you end up not even using. So I think that's why a lot of people end up like not using their degrees. So yeah, it basically gives you more opportunities to
Yeah.
advance in life, I think.
So in my opinion, and this is something which is really hard though, like my parents are super supportive in everything that I do. So if I make a decision that I want to do that kind of study, or that I want to start my own business, they are like, yeah, go for it. Like if that is what gives you energy and motivates you, do it. But that also helped me to like do the studies that I enjoy. And
Yeah,
when you do something you enjoy, it's also, I would not say easier, but like you have a different way of looking at school and college,
yeah,
where I also believe that a lot of students are kind of being forced into a certain degree because like of their parents saying, okay, you need to do this because then you will have a good career and you can financially support yourself, kind of. So then you have the situation where a student did not choose to do that study, for example, and feels a lot of pressure from, for example, external sources as parents, caretakers, or you name it, which creates a really different mindset and environment for, um, yeah, proceeding in the study.
yeah. I would agree with that as well. I would say that's like similar to how I started school, but like it was more like me forcing myself to do something because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know what I wanted to do yet. So I went into college with a bachelor major. I mean, a biology major. That's what I went in as. And like the first 2 years, I was just studying biology, taking all these science and chemistry classes, and then I like realizing this isn't really what I wanted to do. So then I ended up switching to psychology, and that like pretty much changed everything. I was more into the classes, actually wanted to finish school and everything because I was in that same spot where I was just like losing motivation. I didn't really want to continue those same thoughts of like, maybe college isn't for me, but I completely forgot that, you can change your major, you can change your mind, you can actually like sit there with yourself and just think about what you want to do in life. and how college can help you get there. And I knew switching my major to psychology would be a big help for me. So that's what I was able to do. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, good to hear.
And it also makes me think of something else um, with your creator stuff. Because you said you've been creating for what? You said you're doing the online business for about a year, but you've been creating for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in those couple months, do you think you'd have any advice for someone who wants to start creating?
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if you've heard about Simon Sinek. He's
Oh,
like a huge,
yeah.
he's like a huge guru in setting up your business. And the main message that he shares is start with your why. Like find out why you are starting your business and why you want to create the kind of content that you do. So when you are considering starting your own online business in content creation, ask yourself, okay, why? Why do I want to start? But also, why am I doing this business? So my why is that I want to help students with effective and efficient learning methods so that they experience less stress and that their mental and physical health improves. That is my why. And that just like keeps me taking action on a daily basis because I want to help as many students as possible. I would love to say that I want to help all 200 million of them, but that's like a lot. But yeah, like having your why and being really clear on your vision is super important. And the next step would be to be very disciplined and take consistent action on a daily basis. And discipline means putting in the work when you don't feel like it. And consistency means just being disciplined every day, kind of thing. So those are the three main factors that I think are needed if you want to start something like this.
Yeah, I love all of that because we do have, even more creators that are joining the space every day, all the time, and younger ones as well, especially around our age. I believe we're like close in age. I'm 23. How old are you?
24.
Okay, yeah, really close. So yeah, we definitely have people our age or people even younger starting careers online, starting business online. And yeah, I believe those are very helpful tips.
Cool.
I wanted to end this off with our reflective question. Since we were just talking about advice to younger people, what advice would you give your younger self?
Yeah, that's a good question. And the first thing I would definitely recommend is like learn how to learn, and not to promote my own business, but if I would have known like all these methods before I started college, I think it would have helped me a lot. Like, and I would not have been going through the same situation, had the 3 retakes. Maybe, like, I'm not sure, but this is also like part of my mission in my business, like to inform students about these topics at such an early stage, so that when they decide to do a certain studies, that they have the methods and have the knowledge on how to actually go through it. Of course, they have to put in the work. Like I can't do that for them, but I think that would definitely be something. So I also encourage like schools and universities to dive into this topic and teach their students in high school already about it. Besides that, I would definitely recommend all students to ask questions and ask for help. One of my favorite quotes is the man who asks is a fool for 5 minutes, and the man who never asks is a fool for life. And what I noticed is that during my journey, I started to ask more questions to my teachers and my coaches and my mentors. And that just accelerated my process of learning and growth by a lot because these people have been through it themselves. So why not ask how they dealt with it? And I noticed that a lot of students always have a fear of like asking questions. but I would love to bet like 100 or 200,000 euros on the fact that someone in the room has the same question as they do, but they are all too afraid to ask the question. So what I noticed is during my master, it was like, oh, I would raise my hand, ask the question. At the end of the class, people would come up to me and say, oh, Tom, I'm so thankful that you asked that question. Thank you so much. And I was like, yeah, if you have the same question, just ask it. So those two things would definitely be advice to my younger self.
Yeah, I would say there's never wrong for being curious, asking questions. That's what I would always advise people to do, is to just be more curious, and you'll find the answers if you look for them. So,
yeah, definitely.
So, all right, Tom, it was great speaking with you. And if you want, you can plug any in your social media and your like business you're working on.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And again, like I think the topics that you are covering are so important: mental health, physical health for students. And I love that you invited me on this, because I could share hopefully some valuable insights and tips that that your listeners can apply in their life. So if they would like to know more about all the scientifically proven methods, they can follow me on at @the_study coach. And yeah, I'm also hosting like free webinars, and I'm giving out like free study guides just to share this knowledge, because universities are like basically not doing it. So I hope they can benefit from it, and hope to see them on one of the webinars or anything like that soon.
Right, and it was an amazing conversation with us, man. And me and you have actually spoken before, so this is actually like part 2 of our conversation. That we even dive deeper into, lifestyle, coaching, school, and everything like that. So it was a great talk, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much.
All right, appreciate it.